Each year she sits at the table and says, I don't know what I'm going to say or what I could possibly say, and each year we all are humbled by her testimony and by her witness. And I don't envy having to be the speaker after Joan, but Josiah, it's all yours. Our speaker tonight is Josiah Presley, who comes to us, a native of Oklahoma, comes to us through Criswell College in Dallas, Texas, where he is a freshman. He is very active in his devotion, his commitment to the pro-life movement, done interviews about his life story, helped to create pro-life videos, spoken at press conferences for legislative personhood bills, done other things, works at his own local clinic, evening clinic. He recently spoke at the National Convention for Life in Ireland, so you may hear a little Irish brogue in his talk today, if you don't hear the southern drawl from Texas. But he is currently studying psychology at Criswell College. He plans on going into church ministry after graduation, and his own care and concern, for the cause comes from this personal experience that he's going to share with all of us now. So please join me in welcoming Josiah Presley.
Well, good evening. My name is Josiah Presley. Like he said, I'm 19 years old. I'm a freshman at Criswell College in Dallas, Texas. But originally I'm from South Korea. But when I was 1 year old, I was adopted. I was brought over to the States where I grew up in Oklahoma. And so Ms. Fasanello just asked me to come this evening and to share my story with you. So, in the year 2008, when I turned 13, my adopted parents, they sent me down to have a hard discussion about my adoption and more things surrounding my adoption. They told me it was going to be a difficult thing for me to hear. They told me it was going to hurt, but they said they didn't have to tell me if I didn't want to know, but if I wanted to know, they were going to tell me. So I said I wanted to know. So they told me about how 2 months into my birth mother's pregnancy with me, she decided to have a curettage abortion. Now, a curettage abortion is the type of abortion where the doctor goes into the mother's womb and rips the baby apart, limb from limb, bringing them out in pieces. At the time, they thought the abortion had gone well. They thought everything had gone accordingly, so they sent her home. It was a few months later, though, that she realized that she was still pregnant with me. I was still very much alive. At this point, she decided to let me live. I was born later on October 7th, 1995. As you can tell, I was missing a limb. Whether or not that was a direct cause of the abortion, we're not sure. But considering the type of abortion it was, that's a very likely possibility. We wonder if maybe I had a twin with me in the womb. Just once again, considering the type of abortion that was, what else would have made the doctor stop and let's say maybe brought out one baby, not realizing there's a twin, me, also in the womb, just thinking the procedure was done. So after I was born, I was placed with the Eastern Social Welfare Society. That's a foster home ministry in South Korea that partners with an adoption agency here in the States. So I was placed with that. I lived in Korea for about a year before I was adopted and brought over to the States where I've grown up in Norman, Oklahoma. Just to be honest, when my parents first told me about my birth parents' decision, it hurt a lot. I don't know if I've ever been told anything that's hurt more. Just knowing that things had gone the way my birth parents chose, I wouldn't be here today. I struggled with depression over this. I struggled with thinking like the one woman who should have loved me the most thought my life was so invaluable she tried to kill it. So I struggled with depression over that. I struggled with anger towards them for that. Growing up with a deformed arm, I hated it. I hated just being different. Everywhere I go, people would stare at me. I just hated being so different. So I blamed all that on my birth mom and her choice because in my mind, I wouldn't be like that if she hadn't had the abortion. I struggle with this depression and this anger, this hatred for my birth parents for many years. Up to that point, I wanted to maybe meet them one day. I had a lot of respect for them because I thought, man, they chose life. They couldn't take care of me, but they chose life and put me up for adoption. How great. But at this point, it was like, no. They first tried to kill me, and then when that didn't work, they said, well, I guess we'll put them up for adoption. So this caused me to have a lot of anger and hatred towards them for that. But eventually, as I got older, once I got really saved, once I was able to get past this self-pity for myself over this, the Lord really showed me His hand in my life. He really showed me how fortunate I was. Psalms 139, 13 through 16 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." As I got older and was able to get past this self-pity, I realized just how much God had done for me. I realized how fortunate I was. I really realized His hand in my life. But I realized that not only does God love me, not only does God think I'm important, not only does God care about me, but God loves every baby. Every baby is important to God. Every baby is cared about by God from the moment of conception. So when I really realized this made me just a better pro-life witness. Growing up in a Christian home, it was never a question whether or not abortion was wrong. We grew up knowing it was murder. We knew it was wrong. But it wasn't until this time that it really struck me what abortion was, because it's so personal to me at this point. So this made me a better pro-life witness. It made me just have a thankfulness to my parents for what they'd done for me. They adopted me, they cared for me, brought me in and made me their own son. So it gave me a more respect and love for them for that. But it made me see the gospel in a whole new light. I saw how my parents, who don't owe me anything, had no reason to, there was nothing saying they had to, they of their own accord chose to spend thousands of dollars to adopt me, bring me all the way over from Korea, in spite of my disabilities, and raise me in their own home alongside the other children, making me heirs alongside the other children. I saw how that's a picture of the gospel. I saw how that's a picture of how God adopts us into His family. He owes us nothing, yet He brings us into His family and makes us heirs with Him. So I was able to see the gospel in a personal way. And so once I had this understanding, once I was really able to see this, I was able to actually move forward. I was able to contribute to the pro-life movement. Proverbs 31, 8-9 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly, defend the rights of the poor and needy." That's who these unborn babies are. They're destitute. They can't speak for themselves. And we're commanded in this passage of Scripture to be a voice for them, to stand up for them, to defend them. So as we stand up for them, there's also obviously the question of what do we do with the babies? Because it's very real that these babies either can't be cared for or aren't wanted. And so in today's society, their answer for that is abortion. Well, we all know that's wrong because abortion is murder. But what is the answer, I would say, is adoption. And I have a picture of my family here with me.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so I have 11 siblings, 9 of which are adopted. In this picture is depicted all my adopted siblings. My 2 oldest brothers who aren't adopted aren't in the photo because it's not because we don't like them. It's because at the time this photo was taken, they're already grown, married, having their own families, starting their own families. So this is a picture of me, my parents, and all my adopted siblings. So I just want to mention a little bit about each one of them. That one's obviously me. Then over here right there, that's Eliana. She's my oldest sister. My parents adopted her from Haiti when she was 11 years old. Right here, that's Mariah. My parents adopted her actually from a crisis pregnancy situation her mom was in. And if it hadn't been my mom there at that crisis pregnancy center counseling Mariah's birth mom, she wouldn't be here today. And today, Mariah, she's married, has a beautiful little son named Justice. Anyways, right here, that's Elise. She's the one right above me. She's also from South Korea. My parents adopted her from an orphanage in South Korea. Then obviously there's me. Then these two right here at the top, that's Shoshana, Shylin, and Darius. They're a sibling group that my parents adopted from Oklahoma as well. Then right here, that's Mia. She was adopted from Oklahoma. Then there's Christopher. He's Eliana's half-brother. And my parents actually came to adopt him from an orphanage that he was in Haiti. And then finally, last but not least, is Kinzia. She's my youngest sister that my parents adopted from a crisis pregnancy center in Oklahoma. And so I wanted to show this picture to you today. I wanted to share this picture with you today to show you two things. The first thing is, abortion for my siblings, that would have been the easy, convenient thing for their parents to choose. But if their parents had not chosen life, my family wouldn't be what it is today. I also showed this to show you that there's a way better answer than abortion. There's an answer that promotes life. So as I speak out against abortion, I speak out knowing the effects of it, but also that there's a better answer than abortion. So then just on a personal note, where I am today, like I said, I was about the age of 16 when I really came to know the Lord, and I really came to forgiving my parents, and I really got over what they'd done for me. And it was shortly actually after I got saved that it really hit me that I needed to forgive my parents. It hit me that the Lord has forgiven me of so much. I need to be able to forgive them of this. So I was praying about it, trying to forgive them. And something that hit me one day, is almost as if the Lord was saying, yeah, here's another reason why you should forgive them, was it hit me that my birth mom, I like to think that she's not a heartless person. I like to think that she wasn't just getting an abortion because she hates babies, but she was getting an abortion because she was in a situation where she couldn't care for me. And so it hit me that one day that when she had me in the hospital, I assumed she either held me or at least saw me after she gave birth to me. And so it made me wonder, I wonder all the thoughts that went through her head when she either held or saw me. All these thoughts there must have been of regret, of thinking, I can't believe I almost killed this. I can't believe I almost ended this innocent human being's life. And so for me, that was a very big thing for me, because I would rather go all my life, which I have, with a deformed arm, missing part of a limb, than have to go the rest of my life thinking I almost ended an innocent human being's life. So that was really able to make me come to a place of forgiveness for them for that. And so I'm at a place where I'd like to one day maybe meet them if the opportunity presented itself. I want to tell them I forgave them. I want to tell them why I forgive them, just because of the gospel, what the Lord's done for me. Because it's all what He's done for me. I've done nothing to earn this, done nothing to merit this, and all I can do is be thankful to Him and then speak up and stand up for life. And so I just want to encourage you guys to all stand up for life, because it is very valuable. I love crisis pregnancy centers. I love them for a number of reasons. But the biggest reason probably would be this. In the pro-life movement today, we're all about the babies. We're all about saving the babies, which is important. We need to. They're the reason we're here, to save these lives. But many times in the pro-life movement, I think that we forget about the mothers. And as you saw in the video earlier that they were showing, Life Choices, they really care about the mothers. They're not just here for the babies. Yes, they're here for the babies, but they're also here to help these women who are hurting and who are in pain. And I love that about Life Choices. I love that they're being a light in a world that is so dark. It says it's okay to go into what should be the safest place on earth and kill the most defenseless and innocent of human beings. And they are being a light in that world, and they are saving lives. So, thank you for your time.